Plexi's here with me. I've got this from Ugg Ater in Hackney. He says, I've got a business in Islington. They're now employing loads of people to walk around in threes to give people fines if you drop a cigarette. The salary is approximately $35,000 for each of these officers. That'll be the local council, no doubt, who are not that interested in policing crime, but very interested in policing the ordinary people of the county who might put a cigarette out on the ground.
A few months ago, I came out of Waterloo train station. I've been on a fairly long journey, and I am a foolish smoker, I know. Please don't start, kids, right?
Yeah.
And I came out of the station, stood on the steps, had a cigarette, and I was going off to meet someone. And as I crossed the road, I'm looking for a bin. Can't find a bin anywhere. So I popped it down the drain.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere comes this warden type person, £100 on the spot fine.
No way.
I said, but I slung it down the drain.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, it's still littering. Gave me a ticket, £100, went home. The wife went ballistic, as you can imagine.
Yeah, right.
And she went on the internet and very inexpensively bought these kind of silver foil lined pouches.
Oh, yeah.
Which I now carry one all the time.
And you just put
and
it in
you
that.
can stub your cigarette out in that, fold it up, press a little kind of popper on it, and stick it in your rucksack or stick it in your pocket.
So you're supposed to carry the fag ends around with you. Well, let's hope you don't one day not put it out properly and you suddenly start walking around with a backpack on fire.
I'm very, very cautious about it, and I make sure it's properly put out. And then when you pass the bin...
hang on. It's all very well saying all this, right? But when you walk around the streets, there's litter everywhere. And why are they not picking up people for dropping, their kebab litter, or their burger litter, or, their fast food, polystyrene boxes, There's litter literally littering the entire country.
24 hours after getting back to the UK last week, Friday morning, I'm on the tube. I go down the stairs at Charing Cross into the underground part of it, strewn with unsightly, filthy, horrible litter, food remnants.
So where are these litter wardens then?
Well, nowhere to be seen is the answer.
They're happy to follow you though, because they think that you can see you smoking. The guy was probably following you, so you do your cigarette. Unbelievable.
They do like a bit of easy pickings,
They
don't
do.
they?
Let's have a look at two-tier sentencing, because judges yesterday were being accused. We had Robert Jenrick on here yesterday saying, I actually said to him, can we not just do away with the Sentencing Council? He wouldn't quite go that far, but he did say we need serious reform. It looks as though, as a result of that interview, they've now folded. Lord Justice Davis, the chairman of the Sentencing Council, announced that it will now suspend guidance which was given to all judges, that they should basically treat different people differently. So if you're from an ethnic minority, or you're trans, or you're a woman, or you're not a white British man, you should get an easier sentence than a white British man should get.
So the good news is that they've suspended that ridiculous policy that was supposed to be imposed today.
Yeah.
But have a look at the Daily Mail today, front page, of course. The headline screams, two-tier police race guide row.
Amazing.
Yeah, and of course, what have we got? Oh, yes, the National Police Chiefs Council, that we've discussed on many an occasion, are now saying, under their anti-racism commitment, that police officers, that's when they're not planting trees.
When they're not planting flowers and not using water.
Police officers must consider cultural impact and community trauma when using their powers.
Yes, and let's just define what community trauma is. Apparently community trauma could be anything from you feeling like that because your grandfather was treated like a slave, that you have suffered in some way as a result of that. You could also be suffering from the fact that you are part of a diaspora from another country and perhaps in another continent, and you feel in some way put upon, therefore you should be treated differently when you commit crime.
I mean, it's utterly appalling, isn't it?
Can I say bollocks? I mean, I think I should be able to this time of the morning. Sorry if anybody's offended, but it's just bollocks.
Police officers should do their job without fear or favour.
Yes,
remember?
Of course.
You don't do favours for people.
No.
Even if they're black or brown or from kind of minority.
One-legged.
Whatsoever they may be.
Blind.
Men in frocks or people
Deaf.
of particular faith and any sort of thing. Just go out there and police consistently. You see, that's what people want. They want their police to be consistent.
If you're a shoplifter, you should be treated the same as every other shoplifter. You should be thrown to the ground, handcuffed with your hands behind your back, your face on the floor, and we'll pick you up, stick you in a black marae and take you to court. Thank you very much indeed. I don't care who you are.
Robber, burglar, murderer, you're nicked.
Right.
Get in the van.
Exactly.
Not, hang on a second. Should I consider cultural sensitivities.
Did your grandfather was he stolen from the Caribbean to be brought here? Was he on Windrush or something? I mean, who cares? How about this, right? A report says basically that racial equality does not mean treating everyone the same. Sorry, have they now redefined the word equality? So apparently equality now does not mean treating everyone the same.
Well, you see, to quote the London Museum, you see, your embedded whiteness is just flowing out of you this morning. It
is.
I've got all that embedded whiteness.
White privilege.
Yeah. I mean, just utter nonsense. What I will do...
What a load of rubbish.
Is I was thinking, when I read that story last week about this embedded whiteness, which I found deeply offensive, actually. Not that I'm going to, lose any sleep over it, but it is an offensive thing to suggest. I was wondering, with the tragic loss of life that we have in London in particular, with teenage kids stabbing teenage kids and killing them, I wonder whether we're going to discuss the embedded blackness of all those kids. Because when you look at it, they are inherently black, tragically.
No. Well, how about this? It's worse than that, because we've got old Keir Starmer summoned everybody to Downing Street yesterday because he wanted them all to watch Adolescence, which is a Netflix drama, not a documentary. It's a story about a young white kid, aged 12, who murders another young white kid who happens to be a girl, and they're sort of drawing all sorts of conclusions from it, that, this is all Andrew Tate's fault, or it's my fault, or it's the fault of, right-wing media, that these horrible things are happening, and all the black people in the show are very, very nice and lovely, and all the white people in the show are kind of, pretty much a disaster. And he now has said that he wants this to be shown in every school. I said yesterday on Twitter, I said, what next? Keir Starmer has a summit on EastEnders to work out what working class people really want from a drama. I mean, what's wrong with this bloody idiot?
See, it's that embedded whiteness again. You see, perhaps the London Museum were right all along. I wonder whether it's embedded Islam that made certain people go and blow tube trains up.
Could be that. Could be that,
I mean, so much can be embedded, couldn't it?
It can. Talking of embedded, let's have a look at Angela Rayner. She's talking about national renewal. Have a look. Any chance I can go on a safari? And I'm in Ethiopia. She went to Ethiopia the other day. I mean, I'm proud of where I came from. Yeah, well, why wouldn't you be? Who cares where you came from? We live in a what I would call an egalitarian society. The fact that she comes from a council estate, so what? I don't care. I don't care whether she comes from a stately home or a council estate. Doesn't really matter. But that is a real good indication of what this government is doing. Basically nothing.
Completely.
They're making lots of videos with lots of dramatic music behind them, But I don't know what she was actually saying there. What's she doing? What's she doing?
All those strings playing in the background. Wasn't it wonderful?
Yes.
Didn't it really raise your soul in the
it's like something out Schindler's List.
And say, this is the government delivering the change it promised.
Yeah.
Or maybe...
a girl in a red coat walks in, she's been saved from the Nazis. What's it going to do with anything? How about this? Rayner on the nation's problems. Check this out. See if it's any better.
The country was in a real mess after 14 years of decline under the Conservatives. You only had to walk down your street to see it. Pothole roads leaving you with...
Is that a commentary on what it's like now?
Nothing's changed.
No, you've got potholed roads, right? You've got kids riding around on bikes unlawfully. You've got no chance of getting a doctor's appointment. Same. The mad scramble at 8 a.m. There's nothing's different. They've been in for 9 months. Yeah, rampant shoplifting.
Yeah, I think we need to talk about Angela Rayner's embedded idiocy. OK? Because I'm liking this word embedded. I just think everybody's got something embedded.
Yeah, I mean, it's just incredible, isn't it? I mean, they keep talking about 14 years of decline. And listen, the Tories at the end were not exactly doing a great job. No. However, compared to this lot, they were brilliant, right? Compared to what's going on now with this complete and utter bunch of charlatans, liars, hypocrites, complete and utter charlatans. We've got a business secretary who was never in business but pretended he was a solicitor, right? We've got Rachel Reeves pretended she was an economist running the economy into the ground over a cliff. Keir Starmer, who tells one lie after another every single minute of his existence and can't actually lie straight in bed. It's absolutely unbelievable. David Lammy, who spent £1 million flying around on private jets when they said they wouldn't fly around on any private jets. It's incredible.
Over 2 million if you take into account the first 6 months that Lammy's been foreign secretary.
Absolutely staggering.
But come on, look at the positives. Starmer's got some lovely suits. He does
from
look
Lord
smart.
Alley.
Yeah. He does look smart.
He does look good.
Credit
and also,
where.
yesterday he threatened to roll up his sleeves so that he could get some real serious work done. You know, this from Ian from the Northwest. He says, Mike, I served 32 years in the police and my last 15 years on response. Peter will know that is the front line. I know there are negative stories, but the vast majority work very hard to protect the public. I know that. Listen, Ian, you don't have to tell me that, but there's no doubt that the police has been denuded by the people running it. And I got a lot of calls yesterday from people who were either ex-police or still currently in it, and they said the biggest problem happened when Theresa May allowed these ridiculous people to come into the police organisation straight from university into management jobs, having never served on the front line, and those are the wokest, those are the people who have ruined it.
And it's been made manifestly worse by stupid programmes like the Direct Entry Detective programme.
Yeah.
And only last week, I was away, I don't know if you covered it, Mike, but the police inspectorate delivered a report.
Yes, I did see that.
Saying how appalling they were at investigating crime.
Not fit for purpose, effectively.
Yeah, and that supervisors, inexperienced supervisors, you know, they've been promoted into sergeant and inspector role, and of course they know nothing about investigating crime, which is why you end up with police officers going to the house of a radio producer and his partner when they have committed zero crimes.
No, exactly.
None whatsoever.
It didn't stop them holding them for 8 hours in a police cell
Exactly.
either. Unbelievable stuff.
I wonder how much they'll get sued for.
Well, let's hope it's quite a lot of money.